Welcome to another episode of Slay with me, Liam Clark, the founder of Slay the USA. And today we have Tabitha Johnson coming to us from Vegas, which I'm so
Yes.
excited about. Although this will not air till September, they have their launch upcoming. So the book's out now. If you're listening to this, please go get it. And I had the pleasure of meeting Tabitha through this process. She's just a standout in the mental health field in Vegas. And her credentials are a bunch of alphabet soup, but so much impact that she makes in people's
Mm.
lives through that. She's a licensed marriage and family therapist. She's also a licensed clinical alcohol and drug treatment provider
Counselor?
and counselor, and then a certified health coach and and life coach. So she really has the broad spectrum of different things that people face that she can help them adapt with, things that have emotional driving forces behind them,
Mhm.
and so she's a great resource community in Vegas. She's very, very involved in the mental health community. Welcome, Tabitha. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank
I missed it,
you.
please.
Woo! So excited to be here. So yes, I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, licensed clinical alcohol and drug counselor. So basically that means I can work with individuals navigating mental health concerns or substance use or addiction concerns. And then I'm also a certified health and life coach, and I work with pre and post bariatric patients, folks who are having weight loss surgery. So that is a little
That's
about
amazing.
me.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm so excited to have you in the book, and her story is so
Yes.
great. I bring your name up often on other calls, just talking about,
Oh,
Tabitha, obviously being a licensed marriage and family therapist, had gone through her own struggles in her marriage and really faces that in her chapter. And I think that that's so important that we normalize mental health
yes,
professionals having mental health needs as well. Okay, so like I really
absolutely.
and I love that you were vulnerable to share that because a lot of people want to kind of preach from the altar and they don't really
Right.
like understand what it's like to sit in the pew. And the fact that you're unearthing that for people to read is really strong. It's really powerful. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
being vulnerable.
Grab the
We're
book.
gonna play 10 ways to slay to make it fun
Yes.
for our listeners. So I have 5 questions for Tabitha. Tabitha has 5 questions for me, and we're going to go back and forth. So my first question to you, Tabitha, is what is the best piece of advice you've ever received and why?
Ooh, that's good. That's really good. So my mentor has taught me um, how to trust myself. And she would always use this, like, so she was with me when I was a student therapist and then graduated, and then I was an intern. She supervised me as I became a supervisor. So we had a good 10 plus years together. And she was really helpful in the fact that, one, she gave me space to work through my own things while I was becoming a therapist, because part of me felt like a sham as I was in this process. But she was like, you have more worth in one pinky than most people have in a whole hand. And I don't say that from a braggadocious place. Um, she was getting me to see just how much I was capable of because I couldn't see it myself. And so fast forward to now be a part of this project, um, I see it. I see the worth. Like I've done a lot of work to get to that place where before I would just hear it and I couldn't really soak it in. Um, but yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but yes.
Yeah, no, I think just learning to trust yourself and also just
Yeah.
having value to your worth. I mean,
Yes.
I just sound like a Swiftie, but Taylor Swift was recently
Yeah.
on Kelsey's podcast talking about not everybody can afford your energy and really,
Right.
really being mindful of where you spend it
Yes.
and that, that
So
not
true.
everybody can afford that energy and being more protective of that, especially as a healer. Sometimes we want to heal the world, but not,
Yes.
protective and trusting yourself. I love that.
Absolutely. All right. Is it my turn?
Ready.
What word would your friends use to describe you and why?
I would say ambitious. I think I'm one of those hashtag fail fast kind of people.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of can't in my vocabulary. And
Mhm.
if I think it's possible, I'm gonna try, right? And even if I
Yes.
don't think it's possible, I'm gonna try. And I would say the greatest example of that was my ambition to like save the world through living kindly. And I mean through living kindly and kindly the organization. I
Mhm.
genuinely wanted to heal the entire world and make everybody kind. And I'm like, just go do nice stuff, everybody. Be nice to each other, and
Yes.
it'll all be fine. that's a pretty ambitious goal to think that you can like really put a positive impact on the world. And I think that I like that about myself. You know, it may border on like impulsive, but I think for me, ambition comes with action. Like you have to just you got to
Yes.
get out of your own head and get in there and see if it works. I launched this series. I was not ready to launch this series. I did it anyway. I did it messy. I did it scared. I did it honestly. And I told
Love
everyone
it.
where I was at all the way along the
Mhm.
road because that was so important to me. So yeah, great question.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
And for you, so what is one time in your life that you felt was like the most pivotal moment or one of the most
Um,
pivotal moments?
there's been a few, but I think the birth of my daughter was it was a health scare at that point. So long story short, delivery was fine. I ended up hemorrhaging quite a bit of blood, had to have some transfusions. The chaplain came in to kind of do the last rites kind of a deal. And I remember my mom was on the phone, she was praying, she was talking to all of her friends and family. And I felt like that was when God was like, all right, this is it. And I said, okay, God, whatever you want from my life, I want to serve you. And that was the moment that I started my private practice. I got really heavily involved in the field and I haven't stopped since. My youngest is 12.
Amazing.
So it was just kind of like you said, it was that action. And I felt like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, if I'm given this opportunity, I don't want to squander it. So I've never
100%.
looked back, you
I
know?
love that. That's what I think they call them now quantum leaps, where it's like all of
Yes.
a sudden you just upgraded in like a moment because there's something that brought you, there's some trigger event.
Yes.
I met a girl, I think she's early 30s, late 20s, early 30s, in New York. And she's all about, she had a quantum leap at 21 and she's like so woke, so evolved, so amazing. She's gonna be in the New York project, but I love that you had that awakening. And sometimes it takes the things that bring you to your knees to really pray.
Yes.
So
Yes.
very powerful.
Awesome. Okay, a fun one. What is your morning routine?
Oh my God, my morning routine, it starts at like 7-ish, 6:50 to 7:10. Then I immediately, Alexa's like waking me up. Then I gotta let dog and puppy out, and then I gotta go get the kid up, and he's like not wanting to get up because he's 8. I wish I
Yes.
would say, I would love to say I get up and I drink at 5 a.m. and I meditate and then I read CEO books.
Right.
I
We
don't.
all wish we
I
could
hit
say
the
that.
ground running. Like I just, make sure like the kid gets to school. And then when I come home, then it's like the appointments start. It's a new world for me in morning routines now that I left my corporate life behind. So I feel so peaceful with that. All these people have been encouraging me for years. It's like, quit, quit, quit. And I work for myself and I love it. It's scary, but I love it. And I just, the freedom I feel from not having somebody like that I report to that is like I could be letting down or disappointing or like it's going to take us too long to get over here. It's like, first off, I only deal with flexible people, but now I have more control over my routine. So I
Okay.
get to decide that I deal with flexible people and I also get to decide to like start a little slower. So it's been a good start to the school year.
That's beautiful. Ooh, I love it. Thank you.
Yep. And for you, I want to know if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be and why?
It's funny, the things that I'm most critical of myself are actually the things that strengthen me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that I would have started loving myself sooner
Mm.
because I spent so much time not liking myself and I dealt with weight issues and all of those things. And I feel like I wasted a lot of time in negativity and self-loathing
Mm.
that I wish I could rewind and be like, nah, girl, you're good.
Don't we
Yeah.
all? Don't we all? It's really hard to think about that age and wish you want to shake yourself. And then we meet girls at that age, and I specifically
Yes.
interview girls at that age, and I want to advance them, but you can't. I mean, just like our mothers and the generations before them
Yeah,
wanted to, come on, come on, the
exactly.
self-nurturing. And some of them have it, but I think that that's powerful to like want to go back and give that to
Yeah.
yourself. All right, I'm ready.
All right.
Is
Favorite
this
80s
one
song.
or three,
This
four,
is
right?
this is three
Okay. I can never
for
keep
me.
count.
I think might have been four for you.
No, I think I'm
Favorite
on
eight,
the next one's four for
we're
you.
both on three.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay, so your favorite 80s song.
My favorite 80s song. Oh, it's so cheesy, but Wind Beneath My Wings by Bette Midler. It's
Oh,
like so it reminds
yes,
me of my grandparents. It came out about the time
it's
that they
beautiful.
passed away, and I was
Okay,
like, 12, 14. It was really tough in adolescence to lose. I had already lost a grandparent
absolutely.
around 7, but it hit different
Mm,
in 12 at the ages of 12 and
right.
14. And I remember Beaches came out, and my mom
Yes,
and I
the
went to see
best.
that movie with Bette Midler and Barbara Hershey and
Yep,
crying
love
in the
that movie.
theater. So I just, it's very New York of me. I love Bette Midler, and
Yeah,
yeah, it's not like
she's
I'm like,
awesome.
listening to Bette Midler's greatest hits. But also, fun
Yeah.
fact, I must have manifested the greatest partner of my life. My boyfriend will literally listen to Light FM like all day, and it's
Okay,
so we listen to like
that's
like
awesome.
80s, 90s, and today
Yes.
all day. And I think that that's so fun because like I literally can recite every 80s song, every
Yep,
90s song. Yeah. So
that's
just
amazing.
curious, what's yours? That's not my question, but what's your favorite 80s
Ah, there's so many. I knew you were going to ask me this, and I wasn't even prepared with the song. Like,
song?
I feel like I don't even know. This is crazy. So I was like a huge Duran Duran fan, Depeche
Where are you?
Mode. Like my
I
my
like
ex-husband teases me because he was like, "Oh, you like the white 80s?" And I was like, "Well, I grew up in the Midwest, so like I wasn't really
that.
exposed to like hip hop and stuff like that." So pour some sugar on me. I
Oh,
love
that's a
Def
good
Leppard.
one. That's a
That
very good
was
karaoke hit. That's yeah. I think I
yeah,
had the Def Leppard cassette tape with Pour Some Sugar on it. So yes,
yep,
I really feel like that was the thing. What is
it was
one thing
good.
you wish you could instill in your children?
To trust their gut.
Hmm.
Yeah, just and we've been talking a lot about different things. So my kids are 15 and 12 and just teaching them just that inner intuition that I think sometimes we want to ignore. Um, but they're my oldest is actually kind of an old soul. And so I feel like even though he's 15, like he reminds me like he's 80 and he just sees people. And he's got that kindness and whatnot, but yeah, to trust their gut.
I love
And
that. Yeah,
and
no, that's great advice.
yeah, yeah, it's been fun. A teen
Yeah.
and a tween. So
And it's a new school year, so it's always
yes,
constant emotional evolution.
it is. It is. I know we just started school this week. No, last week. No, it's this week. Sorry. It's been a
Yeah,
weird week. It was
it's been a
Monday.
long,
It feels
yeah,
like
it's
it's been
Friday. It's
3
been a
weeks in
longest
one.
week. I said it earlier.
Yes,
Kids went back to school this week. I'm like, did they?
it's crazy.
They did. Because
They
I think it
did.
was my excuse for like being behind. I'm like, the kids went back to school.
Yes.
But it's like, really, wasn't that last month? And
It
we're in
feels like it was
Florida, so
last.
anybody listening, well, no, I'm in Florida, you're in Vegas. So like the hot state,
Yes.
the kids go back like August 11th.
Early.
The North, they're still like hanging out until September. So those kids
Yeah.
still
After
have
Labor
the
Day.
summer. It's
That's
pretty
right.
wild.
It is.
Yes.
Okay. So who inspires you the most, alive or dead?
That's a great question. Um, I would say, my grandmother who passed away, who I just mentioned, like I decided when I struggled with God and religion that I could certainly be sure that if it existed, that my grandmothers and my cousin Colleen, who died during COVID, would be like my people looking down on me for sure. And she just was a weirdo, and I love that about her. She was cool. Like if you said let's do a painting class and we're gonna paint the lighthouse, and she'd come over dressed like with overalls and a paint bucket just to make the
That's
joke,
awesome.
you know. And she flew
Yep.
on Christmas Eve to North Carolina dressed as Mrs. Claus. Like, and the news was there
Awesome.
when she arrived. So she just,
Wow.
and she used to live down the street from the McEnroes, if you remember John McEnroe, the tennis player.
Yes.
It's like, oh,
Hmm.
let's make some fudge and bring it to the McEnroes. And she couldn't just put it
Wow.
in aluminum foil. She had to turn it into a swan, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So I hope,
Wow.
the irony is my grandfather, who she was married to, actually was the vice president of Doubleday Publishing. And never did
Yeah.
I thought I'd be a writer. I wanted to go to school for journalism, so it's
Mhm.
not too far-fetched, but never did I think that I would wind up publishing books.
Yes.
So it's kind of full
Amazing.
circle. But yeah, I hope to keep my tribunal and then some, my
Yeah.
angels proud. And then I also know that they're
Yeah.
voting, good things for me. I also hope that they like
Absolutely.
the slot machines and casinos in Vegas because we're coming on Thursday. So
Yeah. I can't wait to
yay.
see you. That is
Um,
awesome.
what would you want the legacy of Tabitha Johnson to be? It's like really. So I'll give you like a
So kind of similar to you, there's this part of me that just wants to share love and kindness and hope. So one of the places in Vegas that I always kind of look to is the Stratosphere. So back in the
Mm,
day, I was a middle school worship leader, and we took all the kids to the Strat and we prayed over the city. And so just being able to look out beyond, like everybody, thinks about the casinos and the glitz and the glam, but there's also a lot of pain and dark stuff that happens here. And just that there would be healing and people would have hope. And so I guess my legacy, I would want people to say, you know what, she gave hope, or she taught people to hope again. Like that, I guess that would be okay. I've done what I wanted to do.
yeah, and it's so powerful. And you touch on something that I think is important people do know about Vegas, is that there is life beyond the strip. It's like, saying that Orlando is Disney only, right? And
Right.
it is difficult for a lot of people because it's quote unquote Sin City, but with that comes a lot of suffering and struggle that
For
people
sure.
do go through. And then also there's just a vibrant community of regular people
Yes,
living regular lives that are going through
for
regular
sure.
struggles. And it doesn't help to have that level of escapism right there, right?
For sure.
That's a lot of temptation and escapism that's available to people who are struggling through normal everyday things. So I think it's really important
Yes.
that, you honor that, and also just being in the business of hope. Sometimes hope is just
Yeah,
kindness, sometimes hope is just listening, but it's so important.
absolutely. Yeah. So I feel like we're kindred spirits, you and I, just because
Yes.
the kindness thing, I teach my kids to be kind. I want to be kind. And obviously we're human. It's not always every day, but that's kind of my heartbeat, is to just
Yeah.
be light for others. So
Well, and they say your vibe
yeah.
attracts your tribe, so it's very much how you and I,
Yes. Yeah.
sync together because that is important to me. I mean, I want people to feel seen, valued, and heard. I think people's stories matter. I think there's time, we have so much time, we're scrolling our time away,
Mhm.
but people are leaving this earth without their legacies like intact and like stories to be spun for generations to come. And we're capturing all this DNA for
Yeah.
ancestry.com. Here are we on capturing like the real legacies, the stories, especially
True.
for all of us raised prior to social media. Like
Yes.
there's a lot of story, there's a lot of life lived. And when you write the book and you're not online, you get the backstory. Like you get to know, like you may have
True.
seen this highlight reel, you may have seen
Yep.
in your example, the difference in your family over a couple of years. But to really
Yeah.
have the opportunity to speak to that in a narrative that supports what your experience has been is so much more powerful.
Yeah. I mean, it normalizes the human experience, because I think we really just see the reels, and I
Yeah.
think so many people think that's reality, but there's so much more beyond that.
Well, now with
Yeah.
AI, nothing's real. So, I mean, now I don't know what's
True.
real and what's not real anymore. It's just
So true.
it's absurd. I don't know. I'm like kids today. I don't know how you guys do it. Like
Yeah.
honestly, it's a very. But I
Yeah.
think there's a tipping scale, right? When everything gets a little bit too fake, there's going to be a need for
True.
authenticity, and I'm hoping that like more people try
Yeah.
and fill the authenticity void that exists in the world today with projects like this. Um,
Yes,
I think you have one more, and then I wanted to talk a little bit about your chapter.
for sure. So what made you finally decide to leave Microsoft?
Oh my
Like, what
God.
was the
The truth be told, I took another job outside of Microsoft. They recruited me out. I was kind of done anyway. I was feeling like I really wanted to lean into this full time. It's scary. Listen, like I said, I've interviewed hundreds of women over the course of 2 years who all went for it. And yet I was like, oh, the insurance, I need the insurance. And we're
yeah,
currently like trying to have more kids and all the things. And so
yeah,
I was like, oh, the insurance. So I get to this new company and they have terrible insurance. And it was like God telling me. So then I end up having to pay for the Cobra for Microsoft anyway. And my heart wasn't in it. My heart wasn't in it. And I'm not a disingenuine person. I was never good at tech, guys. I was never good at tech. What I was
yeah,
really genuine, authentic, and helpful. And if I didn't know the answer, I would find someone who did and tell you. And I would tell you I didn't know the answer. And I would tell you I didn't understand the RAM or the gigabytes or
mhm,
whatever. And I think that that's rare. It's sad, but it's rare. And so for all these years, what I did love was my customer, genuinely. And if you had a
yeah,
problem, and it was my job to figure out how to help you find whoever to solve it, or I'll solve it. But it became disingenuine when I have something all day that I'm so passionate about in these conversations
mhm,
I'm having. I don't have that same level of enthusiasm for technology. I never really realized that I didn't have the same level of enthusiasm for technology until I did something
Right.
that felt more purposeful and more meaningful. And I, everyone I've ever interviewed on it says, "Oh, I should have done it sooner. I mean, it's scary
Yeah.
to do it." But yeah, the catalyst was I took this other job. It wasn't a fit. I wasn't excited to work for them. They weren't excited about me either, and I wasn't excited that they weren't excited about me. So it
Yeah.
just it was time, and I
Wow.
knew God wanted me to move on. I mean, the signs couldn't have been more clear. Once I saw the insurance, that was that. I was like, this
Right.
isn't, just go do the
Wow.
thing. And entrepreneurs have insurance. You'll get insurance. But we all have
Sure.
these old things built into our
Yes.
things. I mean, literally, and I love her, but if I call my mom right now, she doesn't know yet, but she'll find out.
Oh,
Um,
shoot.
they're from a different era. That's the only way to do things. There's a lot of
Yeah.
like, oh my God, what if this, what if that, what if this, what if that? But to me, I realize corporate America is always going to be there,
It's true.
going anywhere. I'm
Yeah.
not, I'm not aged out yet. So and I don't feel like I tried to start my own business at 23 and then I got scared. And then I spent 20
Wow.
years in corporate and now I'm back. I'm like,
Wow.
okay, I'll do it
Yes.
now. But based on the question I had about the pivotal moment. So,
Yeah.
and to ask that kind of back to you, when you went out on your own, have you ever looked back? Are you so happy to run a private practice? Is there days you wish you worked for a bigger one?
Well, and truth be told, so I still work full time.
Oh, right.
So yeah, so I'm a behavioral health manager at a federally qualified health center. And, being a single parent, like the insurance and there's retirement plan and all those good things. But I still like the magic of being an entrepreneur. And so I think someday when some of those responsibilities are no longer needed, I hope to have a similar moment where it's like, okay, it's me. We're just going to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so even just looking at your wall is so inspiring because that's your dream in action. And the fact
Hmm.
that you're bringing us with you is pretty amazing. Like that
I know.
doesn't happen. I know,
Yeah.
like, sorry, I'm
I know. And
short.
look, I just realized I put this right here and I
Ah,
really do that all the
that's
time.
cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. I have one of those at my house. But
Yeah,
yeah,
this
so
wall, this wall is a manifestation though. This wall I envisioned,
yep, it was there.
I've envisioned since book one and I could see it and at first I got what are the mixed tiles to slap them on, one by one.
Yep,
And when I moved to this house, I was most proud that I figured out how to hang these like
yeah,
that, and I think they're pretty much close. But no, it's
it's
exciting because
amazing.
this doesn't represent me. This is all of you, right? So this is how many women have I been able to empower in the last 2 years with
Yeah.
now 11 books we're working on, hundreds of
Mhm.
women, best-selling authors. Like this, so exciting to be able
Yes.
to be that magic, moment of like creating a platform. And listen, that's the whole lesson there. Do it scared, do it anyway, do it messy, just be
Sure.
honest. Just be honest with people where you're at.
Yes.
And the
Well,
good,
and the
yeah, what's
yes.
the thing that says the ones that miss you were never meant for you, and the ones
Mhm.
what were meant for you, you never miss.
Yes.
Hmm.
But I don't know, I think it's rare that we get to see women come together where there's no competition. There's no, like, we all get to celebrate each other. And I think that is the beauty of this project. So
What's your
I'm
experience been
super,
like? Tell me, like, what's it been like
it's,
with the Vegas women?
it's been really awesome. So in the group chat, we encourage each other. There's been some, private conversations. I know the girls got together recently. Um, I'm actually going to work with one of the gals who does interior design. She's going to make a cloffice design for me. Like I want to connect my friend who owns an autistic school or school for kids with autism. I want to connect her with Tish for the balloons because they do all these back to school events and holidays. And so just like the networking and on the business side of it, but then on the friendship level and the trust level, just because we've all been through some things, but we're still living out whatever our dream is, and we are doing it scared, and it's been magical. And to know that these people are here in Vegas like that is
It's so
pretty
cool to
amazing.
see when you get people in the room, and this is the reason people get close, because now that I've kind of seen it so many cities, when we get in the
Yeah.
room for brunch, it's just us. It's gotten bougier over time, and everyone sits around and tells their story. And I've
Mhm.
done it a few ways, and finally, kind of this is the way. And what happens is you could do a million networking events. It's very transactional. You're passing cards. You don't really get to
Right.
know anyone. You owe that copy person, whatever.
Mm.
With this, when you really sit down and get to know someone, like have lunch with them and create, that's where
Right.
bonds are created through shared experiences. And so that storytelling is so important. And the hope of the project, it started with I wanted people to be able to be close geographically because my previous books were global. So the authors were
Mhm.
like Amsterdam, LA, like they couldn't
Wow.
hang out, but they still started
That's
podcasts together.
awesome.
They still collaborated. So
Yep.
I'm like, what if we did this in the city? But to your point, and the Vegas group is like one of the closest groups we've had yet. Everyone's cheerleading each other. You see people
Hmm.
liking their posts. I see authors from other cities liking you guys' posts. That's why our
Yeah,
Instagram is so small. It's very intentional. I met a
for sure.
woman, I think, did I ever tell you this? I met a woman in Sarasota. She had 5,000 Instagram followers, so she deleted
Hmm.
4,000. And
Wow.
she wanted to only deal with people who she could
Yep.
learn from, or she could learn from, or who could learn
Yep.
from her, I should say.
It's
And
awesome.
so when I started our Slay the USA, I did it on the same thing. I mean, I could do an
Hmm.
Amazon giveaway tomorrow and blow the numbers up. It's not like there's no
Yeah.
science, guys, to getting followers. Just
Sure.
get a gift card, give something away, and see how fast you
Yeah.
get. But what do you want them there for? That's the question. What do you need
True.
these people there for? What are you asking of
Hmm.
them? Why are they there? So for me,
Good
being
point.
and I had interviewed her at the point I built the Slay the USA Instagram. We don't even have one to
Yeah.
begin with. It was just my page, which is that blown up, whatever.
Yeah.
And so, now it's like I really just want those meaningful connections. I don't care. I'd
Yeah.
rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. I've said it every day.
Right.
So to see you guys really foster that connection, there's like a church group, there's a gym group. They were getting
Yep.
together at Fontainebleau. You see them liking
Yeah.
and supporting. And somebody in your group really showed me, like, people say collaboration over competition. They post a lot of memes, but are you a
Yeah.
meme or are you in action? And Tisha, who you
Yeah.
mentioned, Tisha Tinsman, who runs Little Party Girl
She's
Co.,
awesome.
when she's short-staffed for a too big project, she literally hires her competitors to help her.
So cool.
That is
Yeah.
non-memeable collaboration over competition. That's putting your money
Yeah.
where your mouth is. And that's the
Absolutely.
spirit of these women. I think, sitting at your brunch
Ooh,
specifically.
my
Oh,
lights went out. Sorry.
it's okay. There they are. It's God.
Yes.
But sitting at the brunch and just hearing all these incredible women. And the best part is you walk in the room and you immediately feel like you're not enough because everyone's so pretty and polished
Right.
together. And you're like, oh my God, oh my God. And then they sit down and they're all so normal and real and like just
Yes.
people you can really relate to. And then it's
Hmm.
like, wow, I've been putting these preconceived notions on people
Yes.
just because we do that. We compare ourselves with the
Hmm.
world. We use the world as our mirror. So, when you sit down and say, what's your story? It's also very interesting, and I said this to you guys at the brunch. It's very interesting because you are the author of your own story. So when I
Hmm.
hear these interviews, right? So I'm interviewing people all the time now. You'll tell me if you were the victim. You'll tell me if you're the hero. You'll tell me if you're part of like a comedy, a romance, a drama, a horror movie,
Yeah.
like whatever. You tell me exactly what's happening. If we took more autonomy in that every single day and realized like when we're going through an interpersonal conflict, like how are we writing the
Sure.
story? Is it like they're the big bad
Sure.
wolf and the villain? Is that really the
Yeah.
case? Or are we empowering someone? So I
Mm.
think all that's so interesting. But you guys really are. You're such a close group.
Yeah.
And I see that the best part, and you were an example of this. I love when I go to a big city and it's millions of people, like millions of women in Vegas. And I find people who kind of know each other. Like I don't want the
Mm-hmm.
clique thing. I don't want the who's who, and I don't want the
Right.
like people who all hang out together and always photograph together. That's not my bag. But it's always cool when you see like it's you and then Natasha Mosby, who's
Yes.
a
She's
mental health
amazing.
professional. She's part of
Yeah.
NAMI also, and they knew each other. And I actually
Yeah.
interviewed them like back to back. It was wild,
Yeah.
but you see how soon a big city becomes a small city when you're looking for women of impact. And obviously,
Yes.
Tabitha, you're one of them. Thank you so much for being on the
Thank you.
show.
Absolutely. Thank you
Any
for
parting
having me.
words? Any parting words for the guests?
Get the book. It's just
Hey,
filled with some amazing, amazing stories with some real awesome women. Like, just get the book. That's all I gotta say.
yeah,
These
yeah.
people are they're real
And now that
and
I'm full
they're
time, and we're doing this podcast, and I plan to
yes.
air a lot of episodes. I really want to put a lot into the world. I would love to just start sharing more about these chapters and the things that you guys are
Yeah.
putting. because there's so many life lessons. There's so many amazing women.
Yes.
And again, thanks for being aligned. Thanks for being a part of
Yes.
it. And I can't wait to
Thank
watch it
you.
grow with you. And
Ah,
congrats again on, you're technically a published author. But at the
yay.
point that this airs, I'm hoping,
Yes.
see you guys really climb. But
Yeah,
again, it's a fantastic project. Can't wait to see you later this week at the
yeah.
launch. And
I know. I can't
and
wait to hug you. Thank you.
and
Appreciate you. Love you, everybody.